Welcome back to the Sugar Freedom Kitchen, where I demonstrate how I lost 65 pounds and how I keep it off year after year after year. Have you heard of the steak and egg diet? Specifically, have you heard of Vince Gironda's steak and egg diet? I could have trained with Vince Gironda back in the 90s when I was living in the San Fernando Valley, Studio City, Sherman Oaks. I could have trained at Vince's gym. I actually trained directly across the street at the Holiday Health Spa. I did a lot of cardio, I did cardio dance classes, and I spent a lot of time on the treadmill. I even remember driving down Ventura Boulevard with a friend of mine, and my friend said, "Hey, you could train over at Vince's gym." And of course, I thought he was crazy. Be a bunch of big sweaty guys dropping plates on the floor. There would be no place for somebody like me. Well, it turns out I could have trained with Vince, and not only that, but Vince's wife, Peggy, opened some of the first women's gyms in the Los Angeles area years ago because she was a showgirl. And the sad fact is that what I was going for was, and I actually worked as a singer-dancer for Holland America line, and so I did get to wear some of those showgirl costumes, but what Vince and his wife, Peggy, taught, that was exactly what I was going for. Vince closed his gym, I believe, in 1995. It might have been 1997. He passed away not long after that. But still, there are lots of different websites and lots of different books that talk about Vince's steak and egg diet. Arnold Schwarzenegger has talked about the diet. That's several different websites where you can find out more. But what I understand about the steak and egg approach, and I actually have used it before and I'm going to be using it again, is it is an intermittent, very low carb diet. I'm going to go ahead and put these on. So here we go on Vince's steak and egg diet. Here is what I have read from my research on how it goes. It's 2 meals a day, which is what I already do, intermittent fasting already, because that's all I want to eat. I eat breakfast and lunch. Some people eat lunch and dinner, but when I'm eating a ketogenic, semi-carnivore diet, I only want to eat twice a day. And this is what Vince would put his trainees on. 2 meals a day, as much eggs and as many eggs and as much steak as you want in order to feel satisfied. The other thing that's very interesting about his approach is that the trainees would go for 5 days, and then they would have a day when, I guess you would call it a cheat day, when they could eat what they wanted. This is not what I'm not going to do. I'm certainly not going to cheat and eat. I'm not going to eat sugars or grains or processed vegetable oils. On the 6th day of each week, I'm going to follow the standard Sugar Freedom diet, which is at sugarfreedom.com, which is no sugars, no grains, no processed vegetable oils, but you do get vegetables that grow above the ground and some low sugar fruits if you want them and if they don't stimulate your appetite. One of the most important things about doing this now is we're coming into the end of the year, we're coming into the holiday season, and it's going to be perfect because I can arrange it so that Thanksgiving and Christmas, that those 6th day meals, those are those more free days that are going to come every 5th day, 5 days on steak and eggs, and then 1 day as a kind of refeed or to bring back some variety. And the good thing about that is that the steak and egg is so plain, it's the same thing time after time after time, that these holiday meals, even though they're not going to contain the sugary, junky foods that we eat on holidays, they're still going to feel very special and they're going to feel very delicious. But that's not the only reason why I'm going to be doing Vince Gironda's steak and egg diet going into the holiday season. One of the things about the holiday season is that less sunshine tends to be a time when I start to get a little bit low energy, get a little bit of seasonable sadness, right? Seasonal sadness, I'll call it. So one of the things that I find is that if I reduce the carbohydrates, I find that I increase my dopamine sensitivity and I find it much easier to stay in a positive mood. Holidays are a very difficult time. These are difficult times in that I live in California and we're in the purple on COVID right now. So we may have some more restrictions about where we can go, what we can do, whether we can go to the gym or not. And so this is one of the ways that I find that I keep my mood elevated. The lower I keep my carbohydrates, the happier I keep my mood. And I'm definitely going to be doing the steak and egg protocol to see how that affects my mood. So starting today, 5 days, steak and eggs, and then 1 day to refeed. One note that's really important, and of course this is a demonstration, not a recommendation. Although I used to be an actor, I never even played a doctor on TV, so I would never make a recommendation for what you should eat. That's between you and your doctor or a registered dietitian. I'm here to give examples of how I lost a lot of weight and kept it off. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and do this protocol coming into the end of the year, especially because this is the time of year that very often that we put weight on. At the very least, I can keep extra weight off, and even better, I might be able to lean down a couple of inches on my waistline. So that's the beginning. I'm going to be checking back in with you week to week, talking about how it's going through the end of the year. And then my next video is going to be about dopamine sensitivity and how keeping the sugar and the carbs low can keep your energy and your mood much higher and much happier. All right, until then, remember, the best things in life are sugar-free, and eat for yourself. Be well, everybody, and I will see you back here in the Sugar Freedom Kitchen very soon.